हम सब नॉर्मल पैदा होते हैं, सब बच्चे नॉर्मल रहते हैं, दे आर हैप्पी, they cry of course, but they are not distorted. What do we do with children that in class 5 and 6 बच्चों को साइकेट्रिस्ट के लिए बोला जाता है कि you need to take him to the psychiatrist. Why? What do we do? It is not the children's problem, it is our problem.
But doesn't suppressing those emotions or
Never do that. Never do that.
So what? Because if we are observing that what we are feeling, and in
When
a way we are not expressing those emotions.
No, we are observing the emotions, and when we observe the emotions, then our mind then tells us that we are wanting our children to fend for us. You understand? We want our children that they support us. We are not bothered about the children. Parents, I'm talking about. That they satisfy their egos. They want the children to satisfy their ego. इतना पैकेज कमाएगा तो मेरा ईगो सेटिस्फाई होता है. दूसरे के हम सोसाइटी में उसके साथ बैठ रहे हैं, इसके साथ बैठ रहे हैं, क्या होगा? आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू नो, आई मीन boy as young as you who's so interested in people and wanting to find, this will make you very deep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it will help you in your life.
Okay. So ma'am, now I would like to ask that how does education and spirituality goes together? Like, do they go parallel? Do they go hand in hand? Do we walk on the path of spirituality and gain knowledge and education? Or do we walk on the path of education and then gain spirituality through knowledge in education?
Very complex question. Okay. So, education, see, एक डॉक्टर है,
Okay.
अपना MD वगैरह मेडिसिन सब किया है, पर वो लोगों को लूटता है, खून चूसता है.
Okay.
तो वो लिटरेट है, साक्षर है, वो एजुकेटेड नहीं है. एजुकेशन तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. When you are educated, you can define education in various forms. So Vivekanand says, where the faculties of mind are strengthened and you become extremely disciplined.
Disciplined?
Yeah, the faculties of mind are strengthened and you become disciplined. कितना भी फ्रीडम मिल जाए, पर आप इतने फ्री एटमोसफेयर में हो, लेकिन you know how to conduct yourself. You are integrated. This is education.
Like having the control of the horses in your mind.
Yeah.
All the horses.
Yeah. You will not step into any other domain. That is what is education. Highest level of education. Aurobindo. For Aurobindo, education basically is a discovery of the self. कृष्णमूर्ति क्या बोलते हैं कि education is discovering yourself. What is discovering yourself? See, I am this body. Am I this body? This body I have got from the earth by eating food. I have grown.
From the 5 elements.
Am I this body? Is this hand me? No. I am the self. And when I will know myself, how will I know myself? Only through education. How my teachers will train me. And gradually I'll go deeper and deeper and deeper and touch the core. So, education is what अभी क्या चल रहा है कि हम बच्चे को बोलते हैं ये चैप्टर पढ़ना है, याद करना है, एग्जाम देना है, मेमोराइजेशन चलता है. तो हम सिर्फ अपनी बुद्धि का उपयोग कर रहे हैं, विच इज़ द आउटर लेयर. जो अंदर के 9 लेयर है उनका क्या कर रहे हैं? We have to reach the chit. How do we reach there? So only through training of the mind. Education is training of the mind to reach the self inside. So it's a discovery of the self. Discovering yourself is spirituality, because by the time you reach inside, So there's so many things that you have crossed through. Now you know the world. Now you know yourself. तो आप गलत करोगे ही नहीं. So I think education and spirituality are the same thing. If
Okay,
you
same
get
thing.
yes, if you get educated, you become spiritual. If you are not spiritual, then you are still literate,
Not educated.
not educated,
And if only
or maybe on the path.
maybe on the path.
Mm.
Okay. There was this shlok in Nirvana Shatakam, I'm not able to remember it.
Mm.
Jisme, which explains this same concept that nor am I my hand, nor am I my body. It explains through 5 elements that I am made from 5 elements, but I am not this. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
हाँ सुना
That's
है
what.
मैंने. हाँ, right.
One of its, मतलब उसमें 5, there are 7 shlokas in that stotram. One of its shloka is नमे मृत्यु शंका नमे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मः न बंधुर्न मित्रम गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानंद रूपा शिवोहम शिवोहम. कि ना मुझे मृत्यु का डाउट है, ना जन्म वापस से जन्म, मतलब ना मृत्यु की चिंता है, ना जन्म का डाउट है कि वापस से होगा. पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मः, ना मुझे अपने पिता ने जन्म दिया है, ना अपनी माता ने जन्म दिया है. न बंधुर न मित्रम, ना कोई भाई बहन है, ना कोई दोस्त है. गुरु नैव शिष्य, ना कोई गुरु है, ना कोई शिष्य है. चिदानंद रूपा शिवोहम शिवोहम. आई एम जस्ट अ पार्ट ऑफ शिवा, द कॉस्मोस, द यूनिवर्स, एंड आई एम एटर्नल.
Wow, beautiful.
This is a single shloka of Nirvana Shatakam. It's of 5 to 7 shlokas comprising into a stotram, and I'm not able to remember that piece where it describes this part which you told. It's okay. Let's just drop it.
See, basically all the sages and all, even
This
the
was from
scientists.
Adi Shankaracharya also.
Yeah. Even the present day scientists, they say that we do not come to know when matter gets converted to energy and when energy gets converted to matter.
Yeah, right.
So at a single point, you are maybe in 1/millionth of a second, you are breathing in oxygen and chemical changes are happening in your body. And in the next moment, your body is completely different. Right?
Right.
So we do not come to know when matter converts into energy or energy converts into matter. But then, if you are steadfast inside, then nothing impacts you. And that what is inside is what is Shiva. So I usually used to tell my teachers and even my school children that he lies within you and exposes you. It is your duty to expose him within you. So what do you do to expose that he's inside?
That's what counts.
Yeah. How do you expose? So you do all good. हाँ ये तो शिव स्वरूप है. आपने जो ये शिव स्वरूप की बात बोली है. So खुदा मतलब हम खुद. मंदिर मन के अंदर. So we have to understand these things. You know, over the ages इतना distortion हुआ हमारी education में, पढ़ाई में, and सब राजाओं ने education को use किया अपने goals fulfill करने के लिए. So अपने systems चलाने के लिए.
You know what I think of this concept which we are discussing since past few minutes, that if we had something like this in present times, you know, this education through this point of view of spirituality and knowing the self, going inside, finding yourself, and this coherence of spirituality, your own self, knowledge and education, then we won't be having terms like mental health awareness, mental
Absolutely.
health issues in these times.
Absolutely.
Because even I have experienced that if you take a little bit of glimpse of something like this in your daily life, if you practice something like this, then you don't worry about these mental health issues.
Absolutely.
Like
See,
there doesn't
what
come
we
to your
used to
mind.
do is, I'll tell you, my science, the way we used to do science in our school. So we had this lab in which we had brought a lot of kits. And children had to work only in groups. You know, the whole curriculum was in groups. Marks were in groups, whether it was science or maths or whatever subject. So सबसे पहले तो रिश्ता बनाना सीखा बच्चों ने वर्किंग इन अ ग्रुप. पुराने जमाने में खानदान यूनिवर्सिटी होते थे, अभी कॉर्पोरेट ने टेक ओवर कर लिया, राइट? So if you want the खानदान that character to be there, ग्रुप्स बनाओ, ग्रुप्स में वर्क करेंगे. So we have these kids now. There are such question banks that have been created by teachers and children on a particular experiment. When the children, they are doing that experiment on their own, they're reading and they're doing the experiment. And then there are questions which have been asked by the teacher and the children. Now, so when the children start discovering the known, it is a journey from known to unknown, then they are able to relate. This is the first step. Second, when you're teaching science, if you're teaching physics, suppose, so it is never taught in isolation of biochemistry or social science. So the teacher has to be so comprehensive that when she would teach science, she would teach physics probably, she had to have knowledge of the other subjects, so she would relate that particular magnetism. अच्छा पोल के ऊपर कैसा magnetism होगा? And she's gone into geography, right? And how do birds reach from Arctic to Antarctic? वो they move through magnetic lines of force. तो जब वो experiment कर रहे हैं, उसको how the teacher relates, that makes you the best teacher. And that is why I keep on saying that it is not that you give a textbook to the teacher and say teach. Let them create the books. तब वे आके गुरु बनेंगे. हमारा देश गुरुओं का देश बना कैसे था? क्योंकि टीचर्स अपने आप में गुरु हो जाएंगे. आई एम नॉट से कि बुक नहीं ले कोई, बिल्कुल इस्तेमाल करे, लेकिन अपने आइडियाज एंड थॉट, देन ओनली यू कैन प्रोग्रेस. जब हमारा हम सिविक्स में क्या पढ़ाते हैं? प्रधानमंत्री की क्या ड्यूटी है, इसकी क्या ड्यूटी, हमारी क्या ड्यूटी है, उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं है. सो लॉ शुड बी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन द स्कूल फ्रॉम क्लास. केसेस पढ़ने चाहिए बच्चों को 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so that they will know what is the law of the land. They will know exactly what they have to do and what they don't. So इंग्लिश हिंदी को हमने सब्जेक्ट्स बना दिए, तो we need to use them we need to use English and Hindi, but to teach what? Math, science, social science. ये पढ़ाने के लिए ये टूल्स हैं हमारे. बट व्हाट हैव वी डन? इंग्लिश की क्लासेस लग रही हैं, फ्रेंच की क्लासेस. हाँ, उनको यूज़ करो. पढ़ाना क्या है ये नहीं पता. There the problem arises.
I would like to draw your attention back to this building parallels of mental health and spirituality.
So why does a mind get distorted? We are born, हम सब पैदा होते हैं और हम सब नॉर्मल पैदा होते हैं. सब बच्चे नॉर्मल रहते हैं. They are happy. They cry of course, but they are not distorted. What do we do with children that in class 5 and 6 बच्चों को साइकेट्रिस्ट के लिए बोला जाता है कि you need to take him to the psychiatrist. Why? What do we do? It is not the children's problem, it is our problem. It is definitely our problem. It is how we handle the children. There are no mental issues. Our mental issues are being created by us. Today we give mobiles to children and then we say इसको ये पढ़ता नहीं है. तो I mean problem कहाँ है? Problem is with us, parents and teachers and the society. Society ने बोला, see there are two different types of schools. One school is a good school and the other is a noble school. Can you tell me what is the difference?
I would like you to tell.
Okay. A good school is a school which has all the facilities and children come and play and study. A good school produces doctors, engineers, whatever the society wants will provide that to the society. Okay. But a noble school is a school which draws out the best in the child and helps the child to grow in that. A noble school is one which educates with love and compassion. They are not catering to the society. तो अपने आप बन जाएंगे. वो बच्चे अपने इतना प्यार करते हैं सोसाइटी को कि उनके प्यार में वो सब कुछ कर लेंगे. डॉक्टर भी बन जाएंगे, इंजीनियर भी बन जाएंगे, जो भी मतलब. लेकिन उसको वो नोबल स्कूल वो होगा जो उस बच्चे की पर्सनालिटी, उसके अंदर क्या है उसको नर्चर करता है. दैट्स अ नोबल स्कूल. अभी हमारे पास सब गुड स्कूल्स हैं. नोबल स्कूल्स कहाँ हैं? कौन सा स्कूल, कौन से टीचर बच्चे पे फोकस्ड है? इट्स वेरी पेनफुल. हमें एग्जाम्स क्लियर कराने हैं, फर्स्ट लाना है, पेरेंट्स का ईगो सेटिस्फाई करना है. दैट इज व्हाट द स्कूल्स आर मेंट फॉर. इट्स वेरी सैड. यू गो अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, पूरे दुनिया में आप जाओगे. मैं सब जगह घूम के आई हूँ, बहुत सारे कंट्रीज में. बट एजुकेशन इज़ नॉट लाइक दिस. बच्चे इतने छोटे छोटे बच्चे, they seem to be so sensible and responsible. 3 साल का, 4 साल का बच्चा, he is interacting with a parent like they are big. बट ऐसा यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं है? चुन्नू मुन्नी करते रहते हैं हम उनको. We don't make them grow up. So what I would state is that mental health, वो भी तो बच्चे ही हैं दुनिया के. वो डिस्टॉर्ट क्यों नहीं हो रहे हैं भाई? जो पेरेंट्स बच्चों को बहुत केटर करते हैं, स्पेशली 0 to 7 years बच्चे को बोलते हैं सबसे ज़्यादा सीखता है बच्चा 0 to 7 years, राइट? क्या सिखाना है? ABCD क्या सिखाना चाहिए? अथर
moral values,
एब्सोल्युटली.
compassion.
संस्कार उसी टाइम आते हैं. आपने वो डाल दिया, एटीट्यूड बना दिया. नाउ थ्रू आउट द लाइफ दिस चाइल्ड विल बी फ्रूटफुल टू द सोसाइटी. ही विल मेक एवरीबडी हैप्पी. वो 7 साल में हम उस बच्चे को ABCD, ये स्कूल में ABCD भी पढ़ा देते हैं, ये भी 1 2 3 भी करा देते हैं. ये बेस्ट. दे डोंट, आई मीन इट्स बहुत बुरा हाल है.
There is no holistic development of the child at that age.
होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट क्या? एज आई सेड पहले वाले आपके उसमें हम बात कर रहे थे, क्या सिखाना है? एग्जिस्टेंस इज को एग्जिस्टेंस. हम सब साथ साथ रहें. ये रिश्ता इतना इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है. फैमिली इतनी इम्पॉर्टेंट होती है, सोसाइटी इतनी इम्पॉर्टेंट है. तो अगर हमें ये उसमें इंस्टिल करना है तो हमारी स्टोरीज, हमारे एक्टिविटीज शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन दैट. सी व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, in the initial phases 0 to 7 years, स्कूल का करिकुलम शुड बी डिज़ाइंड नॉट कि कलर्स पढ़ा रहे हैं, हम कलर्स पढ़ाते हैं, शेप्स पढ़ा रहे हैं. दिस इज नॉट द टॉपिक. सॉरी, ये तो उस पार्सल है, बीच में आ जाएंगे. पढ़ाना है, करिकुलम होना चाहिए टेकिंग केयर, बिल्ड रिलेशनशिप, ऑर्गेनाइज एंड वर्क. ये इस टाइप के सिलेबस बनने चाहिए. और इनके बेसिस पे स्टोरीज ढूंढो. कौन सी इतनी स्टोरीज है वर्ल्ड में. हम सिर्फ वो रेड राइडिंग हुड, सिंड्रेला, ये स्टोरीज उठाते हैं. अनगिनत स्टोरीज हैं आपके पास. वो स्टोरीज से आप ये आपके कॉन्सेप्ट्स को आप बच्चों को पढ़ाएं. और उसके बाद एक्टिविटी डिज़ाइन करना टीचर का काम, एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग के लिए. तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपको रिस्पेक्ट सिखानी है क्लास 1 के बच्चों को, तो आपके बच्चों को, कुछ बच्चे आपके घर कुछ बच्चे पार्टी कर रहे हैं, उनको घर सजाना है और इनवाइट करना है, खाना बनाना है. दूसरे क्लास के बच्चे आएंगे, वो पार्टी में आएंगे, उनको रिसीव भी करेंगे. हाउ दे बिहेव, ये सिखाना है कि उनमें मम्मी पापा होंगे, दीदी भैया होंगे, हाउ टू सर्व. धीरे धीरे ये एक्टिविटी से अनुभूति कराते कराते बच्चे सो इमेजिनेटिव प्लेस इतना कराना चाहिए बच्चों को. हम जब छोटे थे घर घर खेलते थे, याद करो आप भी खेलते होगे आपके सिस्टर्स ब्रदर्स के साथ. तो वो जो जब प्ले करते हैं उसमें वो अडल्ट लाइफ जीते एक्चुअली. But वो imbibe, how the teacher helps to imbibe those concepts of truthfulness, honesty, patience. हम एक स्कूल में करते थे एक्टिविटी, हम ना चॉकलेट्स लेकर आते थे और हम सब बच्चों को बोलते थे ये आपके पास 4 चॉकलेट्स हैं, आप जो बच्चा 2 घंटे तक नहीं खाएगा उसको 4 चॉकलेट्स और मिलेगी. तो हम स्टडी करते थे कि बाय द एंड ऑफ 1 आवर आधी क्लास खा लेती थी, आधी से ज़्यादा. जो बचे हुए बच्चे हैं ना, जो 2 घंटे रुके हैं, ये आपके लीडर्स बनेंगे आगे जाके. रेजिलियंस है, रेजिलियंस है. तो अब रेजिलियंस इन बच्चों में डेवलप हो, उसके लिए क्या एक्टिविटी बनाएंगे आप?
Interesting.
Yeah, that is how teaching learning is a very exciting, interesting. I don't call it a profession, I call it compassion. It's a way of life. I mean, I learn through this fan also sometimes. I look at the tree and say कि ये बाहर खड़ी रह सकती लाइफ भर, सन विंड रेन, और हम थोड़े से उसमें स्वेटर पहन लेते हैं.
It's like learning uncommon things from common people.
Everything is a teacher. If you go
experiences
deep
and
down,
things.
everything teaches you. And that is what we want. उससे फिर he becomes steadfast. उससे he becomes relaxed. Nothing impacts him.
Okay, once in this podcast we had Dr. Shraddha Gaur Mohanty, and she had told me about that when we feel anger, when students, young children, they feel anger or frustration, they generally express it through abusive language or frustrative language in a tone which is not much subtle, mostly in abusive words. And the main reason for that is they don't know the root cause for their feeling, and they don't know how to handle it properly, and how to deal with it, and what's the right way of doing it. What will you say about this? And this is true. I suppose I agree with her. Then what should be the way? How should children manage their stress, their anger, their frustration, not through words, but through actually doing something about it?
Yeah.
And how to develop it with them.
So if somebody used to abuse, I would tell them that, whatever you have inside, you can only give that to the world. So if you have love, you will give love to the world. If you have gali, give gali. So you're a dustbin or a vase. It depends on you. So, they would start thinking. See, the whole problem is that we don't allow children to think. When they do everything thoughtfully, anything or everything thoughtfully, they will not make mistakes. Anything which is done, I would say, impulsively,
कि बता दिया कि ये सही है ये गलत है.
नहीं, impulsively फटाक से react कर दिया या impulsive होके काम किया, तो it shows that you are immature. So what we had in our school, we did not have any counselor in our school. So every teacher was a counselor. So what we used to do, that we used to make the child sit down in the hot seat, and then we used to sit down and talk and talk and talk and analyze, and we used to take him deep into himself. क्यों किया, क्या मन में आया था, वो जब हमने एनर्जी ट्रांसफ़र करी तो हमने तो बाहर निकाल दिया वर्ड्स, तो वो एनर्जी दूसरे पे कैसे इम्पैक्ट करेगी, और अगर दूसरे ने नहीं लिया वापस आके हिट करेगी आपको. सी very powerful tool. I used to teach my children, and I used to tell them that if somebody abuses you, don't take it up. So create a shield, and it'll come strike that shield and go back, but you will not get disturbed. So making them feel mature, that I'm able to handle that, nothing impacts me, okay, and that also realizing that the other person needs to be counseled. And if it would have happened the other way, where I would get impacted, that means I'm a very weak person. I'm very weak from inside. So how to strengthen एंड देन व्हाट हैपेंड, फिर कोई कुछ गाली देता था, अब्यूज करता था, तो बच्चा आके बोलता था उसने ऐसे बोला है, सेड व्हाट हैपेंड टू यू, नथिंग, इट्स ओके, ही हैज़ टू लर्न टू ग्रो, बच्चा है अभी वो. एंड फिर एक दिन स्कूल में एक टीचर बहुत ज़ोर से गुस्सा से किसी से बात कर रही थी. आई सेड व्हाट हैपेंड, कुछ नहीं मैम, आज घर पे लड़ाई हुई होगी उनकी. यू सी, यू नो, स्मॉल चिल्ड्रन सेइंग दिस कि नहीं नथिंग, मुझे लगता है. सो यू नो, इट्स लाइक ग्रोइंग अप.
Okay. So, ma'am, I agree with what you said about this anger management thing and everything regarding feelings and emotions of children in school. I
सी
would like to.
इसमें क्या है कि बच्चों को कैसे चैनलाइज करते हैं कि आपके जो थॉट्स, आपके जो इमोशंस हैं, उनको वॉच करना,
Just observe.
ऑब्जर्व. जैसे आपको गुस्सा आया, तो ऑब्जर्व कि आपको गुस्सा आया. यू आपके थॉट्स, आपका जो माइंड है वो वीक हो रहा है, सो ऑब्जर्व दैट. तो यू बिकम ऑब्जेक्टिव. आप एक थर्ड पर्सन बन के अपने ही इमोशंस को देख रहे हो.
But doesn't suppressing those emotions or
नेवर डू दैट, नेवर डू दैट.
so what? Because if you are observing that what we are feeling, then in
When
a way we are not expressing those emotions.
No, we are observing the emotions, and when we observe the emotions, then our mind then tells us कि ये जो काम मैं इस तरह से कर रही हूँ उसको डिफरेंट वे में भी कर सकते हैं. आई टेल माई टीचर्स कि जो सबसे कमज़ोर है उसको गुस्सा आता है, एंड देर आर 2000 crores ways of doing a single thing. किसी काम करने को करोड़ों तरीके हैं. जो गुस्सा करके करता है वो सबसे कमज़ोर इंसान है. सी, एंगर, ग्रीड, जेलसी, ये तो एनिमल क्वालिटीज है ना. Are they not animal qualities? So if you are showing your anger, if you are getting angry, not showing, you are angry from inside, you're not showing it. Even that means you are violent from, you are still an animal. So humanizing, education is humanizing. So what have we to do? हमको हमारे पास क्या दिया है? माइंड और इमोशंस. तो वो इमोशंस को वॉच करो और वॉच करने के उसको करेक्ट करना है. डेवलपिंग अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन योर इमोशंस एंड माइंड, दोनों में कनेक्ट बनाओ, एंड देन सी द वे. ऐसा नहीं हमें गुस्सा नहीं आता है समटाइम्स, लेकिन उसको चैनलाइज कैसे करना है.
But what about then expressing those emotions?
दैट मेक्स यू इंटेलिजेंट.
But then what's the right way of expressing these emotions?
Yeah.
Sadness.
So एक
anger.
छोटा बच्चा है, उसको जब गुस्सा आता है या परेशान होता है वो क्या करता है? छोटा बेबी है, वो क्या करता है?
Irritated.
क्या करता है? How does he express?
Crying.
Crying, है ना? That's the way he expresses, shouts, cries, lie down on the floor. तो बड़ा कैसे बनेगा जब उसी को वो वर्ड्स में बोल सकेगा? How do you speak? I am not happy with what you've done. It doesn't make me happy. If you had done the work this way, I think it would not have harmed the world. बात करना सिखाना है. कैसे बात करना है वो भी सीखना है.
Is this vulnerability?
Yeah, you become sensitive. You're not vulnerable. I would say you are sensitive to you're sensitive to people's needs and problems.
And
See, again, किसी ने मेरे ऊपर पानी फेंक दिया तो मुझे गुस्सा आ गया. ठीक है, तो अब मैं अपने इमोशंस में, गुस्सा क्यों है? पानी फेंका ना, एसिड थोड़ा ना फेंका है. You see, you know how you think, how you change your thinking pattern. And then say, why did you throw the water on me? अब उसको चाटा मार दिया नहीं तो नहीं, क्या बोला आपने मेरे पे पानी क्यों फेंका? तो बोलेगा मेरे को मज़ा करना था. क्यों मज़ा करना था? तो पानी तो वहाँ फेंकना चाहिए, यहाँ क्यों फेंका? और पानी फेंकना ही नहीं चाहिए. तो फिर now you are educating the other person. बोलेगा कि now understand one thing, कि कोई पानी फेंक रहा है आपके ऊपर. He wants to connect to you. There is a gap in him. He wants to build relation, but he doesn't know how to build relation, so he's throwing water and trying to, or maybe he's
Get your attention.
Attention. He's wanting to get attention. So we need, see, that's what I'm saying. You have to हमेशा सोचो इसने ऐसा क्यों किया है. And this, अब उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? You have to take a step back. उसने पानी फेंका मेरे पे, मैंने एकदम रिएक्ट नहीं किया. रिएक्ट किया तो बच्चा हूँ. और मैंने एक स्टेप बैक लिया, एक ब्रेथ लिया. अब क्या करूँ मैं? आई एम एजुकेटेड. आई कैन नॉट गेट एंग्री. एज अ प्रिंसिपल मुझे कई बार ऐसा गुस्सा भी आता था, बट देन आई यूज्ड टू रिकरेक्ट माई सेल्फ. नो, आई कांट डू दैट. व्हाई नीड टू डू दैट? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ऐसा क्यों किया? मैडम उसने भी मेरे साथ ऐसा किया. ओके, उसने क्या किया? तो उसने मेरी पेंसिल छीन ली. तो मैंने कहा अगर पेंसिल छीनी थी तो क्यों छीनी उसने पेंसिल? उसके पास नहीं थी पेंसिल? नहीं, उसके पास उसकी पेंसिल थी, पर उसने मेरी क्यों किया? उसने, आपने सोचा? हाँ, वो मुझे चिढ़ाना चाहता था. ऐसे क्यों चिढ़ाना चाहता था? सी, ऐसे क्वेश्चंस कर करके यू मेक द पर्सन डीप, गो डीप, रूट तक चला जाता है बच्चा. फिर वो कहाँ करते हैं? टाइम ही नहीं है. हॉट सीट पे बिठाना मतलब हम मन में बोल रहे हैं, मतलब इतना क्वेश्चन आंसरिंग करना है.
This makes them clear about their own emotions and why they are feeling what they are feeling.
We've done it. We've experimented this with thousands of children, and हमने इसका रिजल्ट देखा है. वेरी पॉजिटिव. वी डोंट नीड टू, हमको नहीं करना पड़ता था किसी को काउंसलर को बुलाने की ज़रूरत. हमारे बच्चों को किसी साइकेट्रिस्ट की ज़रूरत नहीं थी. In fact, people used to say, send the children there, वहाँ ठीक हो जाएंगे. जो परफॉर्म नहीं करते थे वो परफॉर्म करने लग जाते थे. सो बोलते हैं गधे को घोड़ा नहीं बना सकते आप, ऐसा बोलते हैं. पर मैं इसको बिलीव नहीं करती. आप बना सकते हो. ये इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू हैंडल.
Okay, I would like to add just one last thing in this aspect of emotions and feelings of children: vulnerability. Especially if I even dissect it further, let's say crying. Okay, then now here I have two questions. First is, do students in their school life are taught that not like that element within them of crying or showing their, let's say, sadness or hopelessness through crying is suppressed? And second thing, this I talked about students in school 5, 6, 7, 8 or even smaller classes. How vulnerability is a strength for much older generations. Let's say like 16 plus, 18 plus, youth, even adults. How vulnerability is strength.
I did not understand the word vulnerability. In what context you are talking?
In the context of expressing your emotions, in the context of expressing if you are feeling sad, or if you are feeling hopeless, if you are feeling insecure, if you are feeling like crying but are not able to, or if you are suppressing that feeling, that urge to cry out, or to that urge to speak out, and if you just don't know what to speak.
Yeah, you have a lot of politicians on this earth
Okay.
who have very good English but do not know what to speak.
Okay.
Okay? So, this is the state of our country. I agree with you that the whole scenario that has now come up is where children are not suppressed. I don't think they are suppressed. Now, I think they are over and out everywhere. They express their emotions pretty well. But at the same time, they do not know what to speak. That is the only problem. They do not know how to express themselves. This is what is required very much. They cannot organize their thought. What did Vivekanand say? He said, we do not know how to organize our thoughts in the mind. We know how to travel from Indore to Singapore, But how to travel from one thought to another and another, we've not learned that. So education is educating the mind, how to allow thoughts to organize and then speak. And chalo, you can organize, but you don't have the courage to speak. So, building all that is education.
Correct. So it's like education is like the umbrella term here,
Yeah, absolutely.
where all of this comes in.
Absolutely.
You talked of qualities and you even mentioned politicians. I would like to ask, what qualities does present India needs from its youth, from its children, school going students?
We don't have leaders in this country, we have politicians. लीडर्स पूरे ग्रुप की सोचता है, पॉलिटिशियन सिर्फ अपनी सोचता है.
सिर्फ अपने ग्रुप की भी सोचता है?
नहीं, ग्रुप की नहीं सोचता है,
सिर्फ अपनी सोचता है.
सिर्फ अपनी सोचता है. उसको ग्रुप से भी कोई लेना देना नहीं है. लीडर पूरे ग्रुप की सोचता है. एक फैक्ट्री का हेड पूरे फैक्ट्री सबको लेके चलता है, वो लीडर है. सो बट हाउ टू डेवलप लीडर्स इन स्कूल एंड कॉलेजेस? So, what does a leader have? Tell me. What is one quality of a leader that makes him a leader?
Not just forcing his group or his teammates to do something.
No, what makes a leader?
What makes a leader?
What makes someone a leader?
The
One
ability
power he has.
To stand up.
You're right, but it's a vision. He can see what
Vision.
others can't see.
Okay, vision.
Vision. How do you develop vision in children?
Knowledge or ability of thinking, thought process.
How do you develop that?
Education.
Imagination.
Imagination.
बच्चों को इमेजिनेशन का काम बहुत देना चाहिए. सो वन सेकेंड टाइम, थर्ड टाइम, फोर्थ टाइम इतना इमेजिन करो आप डॉक्टर हो, आप कैसे ट्रीट करोगे. इमेजिन करो आप सिंगर हो स्टेज पे ना, हाउ विल यू कंस्ट्रक्ट द स्टेज, हाउ विल यू इम्प्रूव द इंडोर्स. इमेजिन करते 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 आप एक दिन विजन का दरवाज़ा खोल देते हो. एंड देन बिकॉज आपको सोचना सिखा दिया है, इमेजिन करना सिखा दिया, आप वो चीज़ें सोचने लगते हो कि मैं देश के लिए ये करूँगा, ये देश में ये गड़बड़ है, मैं इसको ऐसे ठीक करूँगा, इसमें ये सो विजन ओपन्स.
Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge.
No. They have to be clubbed. See, it's a complex thing. Without knowledge, how can you? अगर आपको पता ही नहीं गॉड क्या है, और मैंने बोला गॉड हो तो क्रिएट एक क्रीचर बना के दिखाओ, कैसा क्रीचर बनाओगे? सो गॉड ही नहीं पता है तो फिर क्रीचर कैसे? क्रीचर का मतलब ही नहीं मालूम है, क्रीचर कैसे बनाएंगे? सो ऑफ कोर्स दैट पर्टिकुलर एट दैट लेवल वॉट एवर नॉलेज द चाइल्ड हैज़, वो एक बर्ड, अपनी इमेजिनेशन का बर्ड ड्रॉ करो, आंखें बंद करो, इमेजिन करो बर्ड फ्लाई कर रही है स्काई में, आप उसके विंग्स स्लैप कर रहे हैं, यू हैव टू हियर द विंग्स. सेंस ट्रेनिंग ऑफ द सेंसेस. आज हम किसी पॉलिटिशियन को कैसे जानते हैं? ओनली थ्रू मीडिया. बट हमारी खुद की अक्ल नहीं चलती कि क्या काम हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. हम उसको वोट देंगे, हम किसको वोट देने जा रहे हैं? जो हमें लगता है कि जो मीडिया ने हमको समझा दिया. पर हम अगर स्टडी कर रहे हैं कि इसने वर्क क्या किया या नहीं किया, हमारी सेंसेस ख़त्म हो गई हैं, ब्लॉक कर दिए हैं. हम दूसरे के आँखों से ही देख सकते हैं, दूसरे के कानों से ही सुनते हैं. क्यों ऐसा?
We have to start creating and building our own perceptions and narratives again.
How will you perceive things? You have very limited senses. आपके 5 सेंसेस हैं, आप परसीव कैसे करोगे? और उनकी भी ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई है. So education is not a small thing. It's a very big thing. We have to understand. And हमने क्या किया? हमारे पास 2 पैसे हैं, हमने स्कूल डाल लिया, एक प्रिंसिपल रख लिया और स्कूल चला दिया, एग्ज़ाम दिलवा लिया, अफिलिएशन ले लिया, ये चल रहा है. Not education. बोलते इंदौर is a education hub. Sorry, it's not an education hub. लिटरेसी मिशन चल रहा है सब जगह.
There is one concept or thought of mine regarding learning and education. I have seen this around me. I'm not saying that what I'm going to say is a factual basis and everything, but I have observed this among youth only. That if we are going to pursue something, if we are pursuing BTech, if we are pursuing BBA, हम कोई भी सब्जेक्ट, कोई भी डिग्री, कोई भी फील्ड में कुछ भी पढ़ने के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो उस पढ़ने का रीज़न हमने हमारी लाइफ के किसी एक करियर से लिंक कर दिया है जो कि उसके आगे मनी से लिंक है. इट्स नॉट फॉर एवरीवन. अब कुछ करियर्स की डिमांड होती है that you need to go step by step. You need to do the bachelor, you need to do the masters, then you need to do the PhD, and then you are at that level where you can be in that profession where you want to be. But that's not for every profession. I'm not talking about them. Those are exceptional. But why can't I just study something just for the sake because I love that?
That's what I said. First statement was that
That
love. If you do what you love, you will begin to love everything around you.
like why is that supposed to be linked or
Yeah, because हमारी society ऐसे बन गई ना. We are wanting our children to fend for us. You understand? We want our children that they support us. We are not bothered about the children. Parents, I'm talking about. That they satisfy their egos. They want the children to satisfy their ego. इतना पैकेज कमाएगा तो मेरा ईगो सेटिस्फाई होता है. दूसरे के हम सोसाइटी में उसके साथ बैठ रहे हैं, इसके साथ बैठ रहे हैं, क्या होगा? सी एक चिड़िया भी शी हैज सर्वाइवल स्किल्स. It brings that straw and makes its nest. It knows. All animals know how to survive. Are we teaching survival skills in school for humans? एक गाय का बच्चा पैदा होने के 2 घंटे में खड़ा हो जाता है. इंसान का बच्चा 20 साल में नहीं खड़ा होता है. क्यों? Why? Because whole education has turned to survival skills. And it's not survival. What we've talked so much on what we're talking about excellence in human. Such people who have excellence in themselves, they will make mark everywhere. They are global citizens. Krishna was a global citizen. Vivekanand was a global citizen. You see, Tata, Jamshedji Tata, Ratan Tata. I mean, name them. But they're very far and few whom we can talk about. Now, I mean, पुराने ज़माने में तो बहुत थे, but so education is developing resilience in children, is developing the power of thinking capacity, how to handle modern day challenges. There's so many evolving challenges now. See, whatever I learned in the school or college is very little than the challenges that are going to come in life. And those challenges are going to further compound because of the changing scenario. Now you have artificial intelligence. So you see, I was just watching a WhatsApp video that China's made, clones of humans, and they were sales manager, and you can't make out the difference between them and the actual sales manager. Where are we going to reach? We'll be jobless. So you see, these are challenges. How do I evolve? I can only evolve if I have that integrity in me. If I have the power of thinking, capacity, creative, I am able to have complex critical thinking. I am able to decide, good decision making. I can solve problems. If I am empathetic to people, if I have, I'm working for social cause, so and then I can relate to the world very well. I'll be and then I can find a new route. So with evolving challenges, we also need to evolve our methods of work. I still remember when Modi ji made a lot of changes in the business sector, and I used to listen to businessmen crying, मोदी जी हमारे परसेंटेज घट गए हैं एंड दिस एंड दैट, हमारी दुकानें ही बंद हो रही हैं. I said you need to change with time. Don't blame him. You know, when it is employment, they blame the government. Blame yourself. आपने सोचा ही नहीं, इंजीनियरिंग कर लूँगा, कैपेबिलिटी नहीं. So thought problem is with the crowd. The problem is with the crowd. We are not allowed. No, I would say problem is with the education. How you have educated the society. That's what you're getting.
Okay, so I would like to end this with 3 points which you will put, 3 changes which you would like to make in the current education system.
Okay. So current education system, of course, is moving away from rote memory, which is good. I mean, the new education policy has put this in. So number one, the education should be inquiry-based education. Most importantly, all schools should practice group-oriented tasks with children, and it will help them build relation. The most foremost thing required for a country with disintegrating families. Okay. Second thing is teachers who are brought into the school. We require teachers who are very sensitive, and we don't want knowledgeable teachers. We want teachers who are intelligent. Now, when I'm talking about intelligent, means who are adaptable to changes and who are ready to learn, who are ready to mold themselves and find new ways, who are not stuck up mentalities. Like, you know, पुराने ज़माने के thoughts होते हैं. This is the most important aspect. And schools to give freedom and independence to the teacher to work, to such teachers to work. Very important. Let me think of more. बहुत सारे हैं. Art, dance, music.
Okay.
So I would say never teach consciously. There should always be subconscious teaching and learning, because whatever you do goes into the subconscious. So if subconscious is the hard disk, and if you want to fill in the data, what kind of data should go into the hard disk? How do you train the subconscious? कहीं पे निगाहें, कहीं पे निशाना. मैं इसको फिर से पुट इन करती हूँ वापस से. Teaching should be subconscious teaching. It should not be conscious. So for example, अगर मुझे किसी बच्चे को मैथ्स सिखाना है, वो पढ़ता नहीं है मैथ्स, बट ही एंजॉयज केमिस्ट्री, तो मुझे पढ़ाना मैथ्स है पर मैं केमिस्ट्री को यूज़ करके मैथ्स पढ़ा रही हूँ. सो ही विल ऑटोमेटिकली लर्न मैथ्स. लाइक आई लव ज्योग्राफी. सो अगर मुझे मैथ्स पढ़ाना है किसी को और मुझे मैथ्स नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है, तो टीचर ज्योग्राफी का मैप ले आएगी, पढ़ा रही वो मैथ्स है पर बच्चे को समझ ही नहीं आएगा, वो ग्राफ्स के ऊपर चीज़ें पूछ रही है. तो उससे सबकॉन्शियस इज कहीं पे निगाहें, कहीं पे निशाना. यू नो, सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज सबकॉन्शियस माइंड इज अ वेरी पावरफुल माइंड. इट हैज़ ट्रेमेंडस कैपेसिटी, and all data gets stored in the subconscious mind. It's a very powerful tool of teaching learning. So schools should adopt subconscious level of teaching learning, integrating subjects and making it look more holistic, rather than teaching subjects in isolation. Bringing in like I prefer introducing vocational courses into the curriculum. So when I'm doing financial markets, I do it only with mathematics.
Okay.
Financial markets and mathematics. So it's like when you club subject, it become more interesting. Inquiry-based teaching learning is very important. You should not teach science without making them do experiments. Teacher should not demonstrate. Children should do the experiment. Then they understand it better. Then this is civics का मैंने आपको बताया था. Then geography is like total arts. वो मैंने पिछली बार भी बताया था आपको. Geography. And love, of course, compassion and love. We need teachers who have love for children.
With that, let's conclude this conversation.
Yes.
It was nice having you on the show. It was nice conversing with you.
Yeah, thank you.
What was your experience?
Yeah, it's a totally different experience because usually people used to interview me and as parents would come to me and ask a lot of questions. But as a podcast, this is the first time that I'm sitting. So thank you so much. It was nice. And I'm very happy to know, I mean, boy as young as you, who's so interested in people and wanting to find, this will make you very deep. Yeah, it can help you in your life.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this podcast till the end. रीना मैम के साथ इन सारे टॉपिक्स पे बात करके एक नया पर्सपेक्टिव मिला. इट वॉज लाइक अ न्यू लेंस ऑफ लुकिंग इनटू अ चाइल्ड्स ग्रोथ, चाइल्ड्स डेवलपमेंट, ह्यूमन एक्सीलेंस, स्पिरिचुअलिटी, फिलॉसफी, हाउ दिस थिंग्स आर इंटरवीन्ड एंड हाउ डू दे प्ले अ रोल इन आवर ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट. उनके आइडियाज़, उनकी थॉट प्रोसेस, इट्स रियली इंस्पायरिंग एंड सो यूनिक, सो इंस्पायरिंग. बहुत कुछ सीखा मैंने आज इनसे, बहुत कुछ नया जानने को मिला. इट वॉज अ कम्प्लीटली होलसम एक्सपीरियंस. सो थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग दिस पॉडकास्ट टिल द एंड एंड मेंशन डाउन इन द कमेंट्स what you learned from this podcast. What did you learn from Mrs.Reena Khurana? And for more such brilliant podcasts, for more such amazing conversation and people, subscribe to the 2ndInningPodcast as we will be releasing a new podcast every Friday. Stay tuned. See you on the next Friday.